Hi, welcome to the Big Smith News Watch. This is Focus. My name is Savitri Lakeram, and today we're here with the Director of the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission, Mr. Arnold Sublio.
Hi, good day. Again, it's always a pleasure to be here with you and your viewers. So today we're going to be talking about just a few items on our agenda today based on what we've seen interesting in the past few weeks. We're just going to do a little recap of the Building Expo, which generated a lot of interest in Guyana. And on our media, we've noticed people are very interested in talking about returns and refunds and exchanges, etc. So I'm sure you were at the Building Expo also. As we were there, we would have had a significant interest by persons that were there. Many of those persons would have picked up a copy of our Home Builders Roadmap. Our roadmap, again, is a document that protects you as a home builder. It tells you what your rights are, how to properly and securely go about that transaction of purchasing and owning land and a home. So we had met and had about just over 1,000 significant one-on-one interactions with persons. We might have distributed many more booklets and to just persons who would have passed by and not necessarily interacted with us. But it was a very well put together event, and I hope that it's a recurring event that we might be there next year. What did you find that though? Assume that you were there and you walked about the Building Expo.
Yes.
Anything of interest there that you might have?
How does everything work in terms of return and refunds? How does that tie into the fact that CCAC was there at Building Expo?
Well, the main reason we were there, we've noticed in 2023 that there's been a significant increase in the number of cases that are related to the construction industry. Poor performance, underperformance, non-delivery of services. So, and a house is probably the most significant thing that you can own in Guyana or anywhere else in the world. It's one of the major investments that you want to make during the course of your life. You want to own a home, and then you want to own some sort of transportation. And so we wanted to be there in the public just to have them know what measures are out there, what institutions are out there to protect them. So I was talking about our media, our social media pages. We would have seen a lot of interest on refunds this week and returns and exchanges. So a lot of people know that or might not know that they're entitled to a refund, but that comes with certain conditions too, right? Yeah. So you have just about 7 days to return an item that you would have purchased, but that's not the only condition within that 7 days when you would have received that item. You have to make sure, please always make sure you keep your receipt like you would have said, your packaging, keep your packaging, and keep the product in generally good condition. If the product is okay, it's working, and you just want to return it because the use, you no longer need it, or the use for which you needed it has changed, you can have that returned. But the caveat is, of course, that it must be in a condition that's good for resale, because if it's tampered with or damaged, getting a return is not going to happen, or a refund is not going to happen, because you would have damaged that product and it's not fit for resale, and the business would lose. So in that case, you wouldn't, if it's tampered with, you lost the original packaging, it's not within that 7 days, you're not entitled to a refund. And I think 7 days is quite adequate enough time to determine whether or not you want to return that item based on whether whether the need for it is no longer there within your own personal sphere. So original packaging, not many of us keep that. Not many of us keep our receipts. And please don't tamper with the product in any way within that 7 day. Just try to keep it in a resale mint condition or resale value condition so that it can be returned without issues. Now, you can also have a return or exchange if the product is defective. So what I was just talking about was non-defective products, if you just want to return it for whatever the reason. But if your product is defective, you don't necessarily need to have the packaging to return that. So let's say you bought a refrigerator, something that's high value, and it's not functioning, it's not getting cold, it's not freezing in the freezer, it has a freezer compartment. You can have that returned. that's not subject to the 14 days. And whenever you might have discovered that and if it's in the warranty period, you can have that returned because it's then covered by the warranty, which is why you must always try to get an explicit warranty, which is written and is going to dictate what period it covers. So I've noticed that some refrigerators say they have a 10 years warranty on the, I believe it's a compressor. Like, what beats that? What beats a 10 years warranty? It's quite significant, but that's only on a specific part of the refrigerator, right? So look for value where it can be discerned and where you can receive that value. So always try to shop around for the best warranty, the best prices, the best after sales coverage. I know some stores, they give you a few months, maybe 6 months, and then some of them also have an additional after sales warranty period where you could purchase for, I believe it's quite an insignificant sum, maybe $5,000-$10,000. If something like, let's say it's valued 500, 600,000, maybe $1 million, $5,000 for coverage, in my opinion, is not a lot. So you can have your items returned if they are not functioning, if they're defective. So when you return a defective item, there are a number of things that can happen. One, you can ask for a refund, in which case you'll get a full refund. When the item you would have returned is functioning properly and you have all the the correct packaging, it's within that 7 days period, you may be subject to 10%, a maximum 10% restocking fee. So you're not going to get an entire 100% refund. You're going to get 90% of that. But when it's defective, you may be entitled to 100% because the product is of no fault of yours. It's not working as it should. Additionally, with defective items, well, there are two things you could do with the defective items. You want to gather what the supplier could do. One of those three things. So I said one was they could actually refund you. You have no confidence. You no longer have confidence in the store or the product, and you want a refund. What else do you think the supplier could offer you in a case like that?
And they could offer you an exchange in product.
Correct. So they can offer you an exchange. It's the similar product, or maybe even sometimes they do, and this is on their own volition, they may offer you something of a higher value to compensate you for your time and the time lost. But of course, that's again, that's not mandatory required, but something of equivalent value or the same product. They could also opt to repair it, and that's fine too. And they can also offer you store credits. So you might say, okay, fine, I don't need this refrigerator any longer, but you know what? I've got $1 million in store credit, and you could take anything up to that value. And of course, this is an agreement between both the supplier and the consumer. But those are ways that you can have the refund effected or exchange effected, the returns effected. So, there are a great number of ways that you're protected as a consumer when it comes to returns, refunds, and exchanges. I think that covers about it there for returns and exchanges. But just like always, tips: make sure you keep your receipt, original packaging. At least keep it for that 7 days, right? And then you could discard it. I don't think 7 days is that long.
No.
I don't know how big that box might be, but let's say if it's a refrigerator and did come in a box, you could probably just flatten it along the edges and just put it in a corner. And always look for the best deals, look for the best after sales service, the best quality, word of mouth. Go where your money is appreciated, where your time is appreciated, where you're treated properly. Sales is not just the item that you would have been bought. There are other parts to that transaction. You want to go somewhere where you're welcome. You want a proper service when you're in the store. You want people that are helpful, that are kind. And that's something that it's developing in Guyana, that sales service interaction. And we're getting there, and we're going to get there pretty soon. So when you have bad encounters, I would encourage you probably not go back there. You go where you're valued and where your money is valued. And that's one way you exercise your power as a buyer, your confidence as a buyer. And these stores, they're going to get the message eventually, like, why is their sales going down? It's going down because, well, maybe we don't have the best consumer experience. Speaking of which, that's actually one of the award categories that we have when it comes to our compliance awards at the end of the year. So we have best consumer experience that entails in-store and after-sales services. And I'm just going to encourage suppliers, take a look at that. It's going to happen in November or early December. We're going to have that ceremony. Again, if you're compliant with the Consumer Affairs Act, do submit your name for that award, and let's see who has the best service. Thank you, Savitri. It's a pleasure again to have you here with me.
And thank you very much, Mr. Suglio. That's it for today.